Let me ask you this. I have a question for you.
Shoot.
I actually saw someone, one of the announcers or commentators from the UK. I think this was last year. He was talking about Manchester City. He was talking about how the reason that Man City was so good for so long was because they always went for wins. So they ended up with more losses than Liverpool, but that's because they gave it their absolute all to score goals in the second half and
Mhm.
get 3 points rather than being okay with one and being like the stable, unbeatable team that would either win or draw, but like would very rarely lose. Do you think that's the case with us? Do you think we could give it more to go for wins in order to draw less? What do you think about that?
I think that
Do you think there's been times where we could have put our foot on the gas more and gotten more wins out of these first 17 games?
that's a really good question, Steve. And honestly, this season I would say yes. However, you addressed this. The previous 2 seasons, we were mentality monsters. That's where it came from. And I feel like this season we're slacking a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it seems like we're not scoring those last minute goals. Or at least I haven't seen it so far. Last season, you look at Aston Villa, perfect example. You bring up a good point. Let us know what you think in the chat.
Yeah, and just to clarify, the whole thought process and the whole thing to consider is if you have 4 matches and you get 4 draws, you get 4 points. If you lose 2 of those and you win 2 of those, you get 6 points. So giving it more going forward, risking yourself a bit more and being more vulnerable on the counterattack to win a game and get the 3 points, but risk not getting one with a draw, typically would outweigh the playing it a little bit more safe. And that's what Man City did.
Yeah, yeah. I do want, and you know what? There's great arguments to both sides of this because obviously you brought out the math right there. 6 points is better than 4, but at the same time, the risk reward is greater also, right? A point is better than no points, and that's I think Klopp likes the the safety of getting a point rather than losing. And I don't know. I hate losing, right?
Yeah,
But
no,
that's
I get it, but I feel like I would rather see us give it a bit more going forward at times. Not that
yeah.
we haven't, not that we're not trying, but 6 draws is just too many draws at this point.
Well, yeah.
This
Yeah.
feels like 2017. Like it's just too many.
Look, I agree with you. I agree
We're a
with you.
harder team to beat than most teams in the league, pretty much for the last 3 seasons, right? I think we have the least amount of losses. And if you take away the fact that we won the league with 8 games to go last year or whatever it was, and no one cared,
Yeah.
none of the players cared after that, we're like virtually unbeatable. Excuse me. Is it possible, which I think it is, that a draw is just not good enough anymore at this point? You have to give it absolutely everything to get the 3 points.
Yeah.
Because let's just even say you draw 6. You play 6, you draw 6. You lose. You play 6, you lose 4, but you win 2. It's the same amount of points.
Hey, look, I'm with you on the math.
The math is pretty simple.
You're making it simple.
10 games, you draw 10, or you lose 6, you win 3, you draw 1.
Wait. Do you have another example for us?
Yes. Okay. So 10 games. Let me just repeat this one. 10 games, you draw 10, you come out with 10 points. Woohoo! 10 draws, which is probably where we're going to finish this year, if not more. Or you lose 6, risking everything and going forward, but you happen to win 3 and you draw 1. That's 10 points. But with going forward and giving it absolutely everything on the attack, especially in these second halves of games,
Yeah.
the chances that Liverpool are going to win more than 3 is probably pretty high. They're probably going to win more than half.
Hey, I'm
In
with
which
you 100%.
case, the math changes to 10 games, 10 draws equals 10 points. Or you give it absolutely everything. You play 10 games, you win 5, you draw 1 or 2. You're looking at 16 or 17 points. But, oh, God forbid, we lost 3 of them and we hate losing and we hate that feeling for the next 6 days. But we come out with 15 to 18 points as opposed to 10.
Steve,
Because 10 draws, Kyle, is 10 points.
Steve, I just need to say your math is impeccable.
I should have went to college for math, honestly.
No, that sounds like.
Let us know what you guys think. This is it's so simple. You're right, but we don't talk about this enough.
I think, and this is the funniest part. I think you bring up a great point. It's just so funny when you're doing the math. It's just
I couldn't believe it when I heard the guy talking about it. It was what's his name? Robbie Earl. He does NBC Sports in America for the Premier League.
Oh, Robbie Earl and Robbie Musto. Those guys aren't American.
No, they're not American, but they work for NBC Sports out of Stamford, Connecticut.
I got you.
It was him.
I got you.
He said that was the biggest difference between Man City and Liverpool in the past few years, was that Liverpool was technically harder to beat, but that's because City wanted 3 points on more often than Liverpool did.
I think it's a great point you bring up. I really do, because you're right. I don't think about it that way. I will always think that a draw is better than a loss, but when you put it in the context of like blocks of 6 or 10 games and going for the win, it's very valid. It's a valid tactic.
It's so simple. It makes so much sense.